Welcome back. In this lab, we're going to be doing programmatic remediation on Linux computers. So pretty much the same as the last, like the idea is the same as the last video, but it's going to be completely different because we're using Linux and we're going to be using bash scripts instead of PowerShell. So go ahead and get logged into Azure, and we're going to create our Linux virtual machine. So go create virtual machine and then put it in your resource group as always. For the VM name, we'll just name it like Linux Programmatic Fix and then your name or anything. Put it in EastUS 2. Instead of Windows 10, we're going to be using Ubuntu Server 22. And then for the size, DS1 version 2 as always. And then for authentication type, we'll be using password. So lab user, cyberlab123. I just really don't like that. Cyberlab123, cyberlab123 with exclamation point and capital C. Next to disk, I'm going to be using a standard HDD. Next to networking, put it inside the CyberRange VNet. And CyberRange subnet, of course, and then check this delete IP and NIC when VM is deleted. Next, nothing in management. We're going under monitoring. We're going to disable this because we don't need it, and then review and create. And remember to click create when it's done. And then when it starts creating, we're going to go ahead and create our authenticated scan. So making sure this is going, it's going. So we'll go get logged into Tenable if you're not already. Go to hamburger menu and then scans. And then we're going to create a scan, and it's going to be based off of a template. So go to user defined, and we're going to create it based off of this Linux vulnerabilities DISA-STIG. So click on this. And for the name of it, we'll just name it Linux Programmatic Remediation, and then your name. It doesn't have to be this, of course, but scanner type, I'm going to choose internal, and then the scanner, go ahead and choose the local scan engine. And then if the local scan engine is offline, you can use the Tenable cloud scanner. But if we do this, we have to plug in the virtual machine's public IP address here, and we have to open up the network security group after the virtual machine has been created. Again, I keep saying the same thing, but the reason we don't have to do this if we use the internal scanner is because the internal scanner and the VM are they're actually on the same VNet, and by default, everything on the same VNet gets like basically full access to each other in terms of like, being blocked by any firewall or anything, or when I say firewall, I mean network security group. So we'll just, our virtual machine finished already. So we will go to virtual machines and then go to our Linux VM, and we got to get the private IP address to plug it into our scanner. So get it's not loading. Let me refresh it. Amazing. Oh, sorry. Linux, make sure to choose your computer. I think I picked the wrong one. I did. So get you the private IP address, plug it in here, make sure there's no spaces or extra line breaks. And then we'll go to credentials. We're going to add credentials. Then under host, we can choose SSH, and then authentication method is password, and the username is lab user, password cyberlab. Actually, I'm gonna copy it from here so it doesn't get messed up. Cyberlab123, elevate privileges with SU, root login, lab user, cyberlab123, and then we can just save this. And then we can just save and launch, or just save it. And then actually, if you want to do that initial scan for that, yeah, let's just do the initial baseline scan on Linux. I'm just going to go ahead and scan this. So pick your Linux scan, or the scan that we just made, and then go ahead and launch it. We'll just do that initial baseline scan so we can observe the vulnerabilities. With Windows, last lab I decided not to do the initial scan because we've done it so many times, but I'll do it here. So we're going to do 3 scans total. The first scan, initial baseline. Second scan after creating vulnerabilities. Third scan after fixing the vulnerabilities. So just let this run and we'll come back in like another 20 minutes or so. So we'll see you soon. Okay, we're back, and make sure you click the correct one, the Linux one. So we'll check out our results. At least we have 4 criticals, 5 highs, 14 mediums. So let's just take a look. We have a whole bunch of OpenSSL vulnerabilities. We're actually going to attempt to remediate this in this lab. It should work. It worked when I tested it. And then what else is there? Yeah, that's the only one we're going to remediate that's already here. And then we're going to create 2 more vulnerabilities, like the ones we previously made, like the default admin root name and password, and then the telnet server. But we're going to actually create those vulnerabilities. So you can just like take a gander at this. If you're missing like a lot of vulnerabilities, it's probably like something wrong with your credentials not working. You can search the plugin for credentials, valid credentials provided. Just make sure your credentials work. And then let's just like export this. We're going to export 3 scans. So just export as a PDF executive summary. My thing's lagging as usual. Okay. Cool. So that exported. Let's go back to scans. So we exported our results. Next, we're going to actually log in to our Linux virtual machine with SSH, and we're going to install and enable telnet, which is one vulnerability, and then we're going to enable SSH, or enable the root user to log in remotely, and we're going to set the password to root for our second vulnerability, and then our third vulnerability is just like the OpenSSL. So let's go to Azure, and we'll get the public IP address of your virtual machine. So click on yours. Be sure not to get one of the CyberRange VMs. Get your, and then we'll copy the public IP address. And then if you're running Windows, open PowerShell. But if you're running Mac OS, open terminal. And then SSH lab user at, and then the public IP address. Say yes. And the password should be, whatever you made it, but for me it was cyberlab123!! And get logged in. And then we're going to install and enable telnet. You can just copy all of these commands, I believe, at once, and just paste them in here and just say enter, and it should just do everything. And if you want to test if telnet is working, you can always open up a new window and do telnet. Actually, I forgot how to do this. Get the public IP address. I think it's L lab user. Oh, okay. Telnet L lab user and then IP address. Oh, this won't work because I didn't open up the network security group to allow telnet traffic to be inbound. But anyway, we can ignore that. We can just like assume it's working. We can say, oops. We can check the status of it, I believe, with this. So if we get this and run this, you can see it's running. So telnet server should be running. It should be good, right? So the next one, we're going to enable the root account to log in remotely with this. Permit root login. So we'll just simply paste this command, and it's going to execute. Basically, I believe it will edit this config file. So if we say like cat and then paste this config file, we can see this is the contents of the configuration file, and in the end it just added this permit root logon. Yes, this allows the root account to log in remotely. And then we'll copy this. This is the one to reset the root account's password. So new password, just simply type root. So the username is root and the password is root, which is really bad, but it's just for our vulnerability. What happened to this? Oh. And actually, this should be scan one more time and export results. So after we created these vulnerabilities, we're just going to scan our Linux computer one more time and then export the results. So we'll go back to Tenable. Make sure you pick the right scan. So this is our Linux scan. And then just we'll launch this one more time. And then the Linux scan usually doesn't take that much time. So maybe we come back in like 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll see you soon. Okay, we're back. And we just scan one more time, observe and export results. So we just created some vulnerabilities. We just finished the scan, and now we're going to check out the results and then export them again. So click on our Linux scan that we just did. You can see 5 criticals, 5 highs, 15 mediums, and 2 lows. So let's take a look at what's in here. We see like the default root, default password root for the root account is here. This is the vulnerability we created. We created this unencrypted telnet server vulnerability, and then these are all of the OpenSSL's vulnerabilities that already existed. So let's go ahead and actually export this. It's executive summary PDF when it opens. Cool. So next we're going to use we're going to use these bash scripts to automatically remediate all of the vulnerabilities. Well, not all of them, just like the OpenSSL one, the telnet, and then the default password vulnerability. So it's a bit different. It's a bit tricky. So I will just kind of explain them as we go. So let's make sure our SSH connection is like still active. Okay, so let's just click on actually let's do like a more easy one first, like this remediate password. So let me do this. Okay, so let's click this link. This so this is basically the script that we're going to use to remediate the password. So basically, it's pretty simple. What it does, basically, it just resets the password and then deletes the file that exists already, and then it's basically finished. So basically, like, this is a pipe command in Linux. So basically, like this command, like if we were to paste this, basically what will happen is this command will run and it will be past this. So basically, like this command will run sudo password root like this, and then this will immediately be passed to here. So basically, it's just going to send cyberlab123, which is the password, and it's going to send like a new line, aka pressing enter, and then it's going to send cyberlab123 again. And that just basically simulates typing cyberlab123 2 times here to confirm like the new password. So I will Oh, I can't actually get out of here. Okay, password unchanged. So that's basically what this does. But to execute it automatically, like there's basically a way you can do it. I'll kind of explain what this is. These are the instructions on how to do it automatically. So basically this wget will essentially download something from the internet based off of a URL. So if we say wget space the GitHub URL of the raw script, it will download this script onto the local machine. So I'll show you what that means. This is the actual raw URL. So if I open this in a new tab, it will be here. So this is the actual raw script, and this is the raw URL. So for example, if we go to Linux and we say like ls, it will show everything that's in the current directory. There's like nothing here. It's empty essentially. So if we say wget and then paste the raw URL and say enter, it will download the script onto the local Linux computer. So if we say ls, now we can see the actual script is here. And then if we run this command, this will make the actual script executable, so we can actually run it. We can actually execute the script. So if we paste this, say enter, then we say ls, we can see like it turned green, which I suppose signifies that it's now executable. And then to execute the script, we can just copy this and then paste it. And then this will actually execute the script, and all of this stuff will happen. It's going to do the sudo password reset and then pass the cyberlab123, enter cyberlab123 into the command, and it will reset the password. This command will delete this file that's been placed on the machine, and then the script will finish. Anything with like a hashtag in front of it in bash is, well, most things with a hashtag in front of it in bash just means it's a comment, it doesn't do anything. So these are just like instructions. So when I run this, it should just reset the password to cyberlab123 exclamation mark for the root password, and then that particular vulnerability should be remediated. So if we run this, we can see new password, it was typed, retype new password, it was typed, and then password updated successfully. And I will say this is like not something you would do in real life to like, you know, if a root password on your critical Linux server is root, you'd probably just like go in and manually set it or disable it or something like this. Obviously you wouldn't deploy a script with a password in plain text in it. I just created this as kind of a proof of concept to show like I guess an easy automatic vulnerability remediation. And in Linux, by the way, I'm not good with Linux, to be honest. I haven't managed like a number of Linux hosts centrally. So you probably, I'm assuming you would use something like Chef or Puppet or something, one of those programs to like automatically deploy these programmatic fixes for different things, right? But for this, we don't have those things set up. So I'm just showing you how to use like a pre-made script to remediate vulnerabilities, if that makes sense. So as a recap, we use this command to download the script. We use this command to change the permissions to make the script executable. And then we use this command to actually execute the script itself. And the script runs, resets the password, and deletes the actual local script, and then finishes. So that's that vulnerability has been remediated. And I believe we can test it by attempting to log in with root. So I'll copy like the public IP address, new window, and we can say like SSH root at public IP address. And if we type cyberlab123 exclamation point, this should like let us get logged in as root, and it did. You can see I'm root. So I'll like close here. We can just count this vulnerability as remediated, and we'll move on to the next one. So the next one is remediate OpenSSL, and I will say this took a long time for me to do. And again, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing. I don't really. I can use Linux. I've used it at work, quite a bit, to manage my own vulnerability management platform and like other things. But I've never been like a full-on Linux admin, so I don't know. I don't. I wouldn't be able to just make this off the top of my head, and I had to use Google and ChatGPT quite a bit to come up with this. So basically, like what it does is this is like the OpenSSL fix. If you remember all these OpenSSL vulnerabilities. This is the OpenSSL fix. Like basically what it does is it will update the local repository and it will install some necessary things. Then it will, it looks like this is this wget. It looks like it's downloading the OpenSSL 3 binaries, I'm assuming. And it looks like it's building them, and then it installs OpenSSL 3. And then this appears like it's setting some path file, but this is a bit ambiguous to me of what this does. Oh my gosh, what happened here? But it confirms the installation apparently, and then reboots the computer. And then technically after the computer reboots, SSL 3.0 should be installed, right? So again, this is like a bit ambiguous to me. I could spend time, actually did spend time, and I used ChatGPT to like help me figure out exactly like what this is doing. So I'll go ahead and do it just to see what it says. Please explain what this script is doing. So this script is an automated bash script for installing OpenSSL 3.0.5 on a Linux system. Below is a step-by-step breakdown of what the script actually does. So if you want to, you can kind of pause this as I'm scrolling through it, and you can read about it a bit. But the last time I used it, it worked. I remember I worked on this for like kind of a long time because I don't know how to like, install SSL on Linux. So if someone's watching this who's like a Linux pro and being like, actually, that's not the best way, just like let us know in the community, and maybe I'll like remake the lab, or I'll even like let you make it if you want to. But yeah, okay. So what we're going to do, again, let me close this. So these are the instructions to actually install it. So wget the raw URL, make it executable, and then execute the script. So I'll open up the raw URL. It's here. So we can and to be honest, I'm assuming that I need to be like an admin to do this. So I'm going to open up the admin command line. If you type sudo I, you should be made root. So let me see. Oops. Probably not the best idea to install it in the root directory, but I'm bad at Linux, so I'm just going to do it anyways. So I will say the first thing we're going to do is wget and the GitHub URL of the raw script, which we got from here. So I'll say wget space, paste this here. And if I say ls, we can see that it was downloaded. And then to make it executable, we'll copy this, paste it, and say ls. We can see that it was made executable. It's here. And then we can run this and we'll execute. And then it should actually reboot the computer after this executes. It's gonna do a whole bunch of stuff, and this actually like takes a while, so I'm just gonna say enter now instead of talking a lot. It's gonna take a decent amount of time to complete all of this, and if this doesn't work by the time you get to this lab, I'm really sorry. Just let us know in the community somewhere, and we'll fix it. But this will take a decent time, so I'll just like let this go. Cool. So it looked like it finished. You can see it says like rebooting system to apply changes, and then you can see our SSH connection got closed. That is because this executed. It echoed rebooting system to apply changes, and then it rebooted, which is exactly what happened here. So once this comes back online, we'll finish our remediations. So back to like our lab checklist. We just did this, and technically OpenSSL should be upgraded. And then next we're going to remediate Telnet. But before that happens, let's just like log back into our Linux virtual machine. So we can just do this. Cyberlab 123 exclamation point. And I think we can paste this command and we can see like the version of OpenSSL that is on here. So if we just paste it, and it looks like it was upgraded to OpenSSL 3, 3.0.5. And you remember like our vulnerability was because it was like running OpenSSL 1 apparently. So it should be remediated, and it was like the last time I did this lab. So hopefully it is. So we're going to do the next remediation, which is Telnet. So we'll open this up. And then we will, these are just like all the commands. You can kind of, I put like comments on top of them to show like what they're doing, like disable the service, remove Telnet D, remove X, Y, and Z, remove any unused dependencies. And then this is like the whole script. And then this is just the instructions on how to like execute it. So we will open this in a new tab, the raw, this is the actual raw script. So we'll get this URL. And then these are like the instructions on how to do it. So we're logged in here. So we can say wget and then the raw URL. Oh, did this go? ls? Oh, it didn't. What happened to this? Okay, so it's saying for some reason, I don't know why it's unable to verify the issuer's authority, something about the certificate used by GitHub. So we can append this command to our wget command and it will probably let us. So if we say like wget, the raw script URL, and then no check certificate, probably it will let us get it. It looks like it did. So let me actually like, so if we say ls, we can see the script is like actually here. So let me, it's like pretty annoying, but okay. So anyway, it looks like it was downloaded. So the next line, this will make the script executable. So we say ls, we can see that it's green. It's now executable. Read, write, execute, execute. And then to execute the script, we just copy this, and then it will do all of the things in order to remove Telnet from the system. So it should be good. Let me just like look at something. I'm just going to copy this command to check the service. It's not running. So it should be good. We probably don't need to reboot the system anyway because it's Linux and it's like good like that. So let's just leave this and then we'll go back to Tenable and then we'll do our final scan. So we fixed the root password, we upgraded OpenSSL, and we removed Telnet. And probably don't need to do this. And then we're going to run our scan one more time and then check for vulnerability. So make sure you're picking the right scan. Then we will launch this and I will see you again. Maybe it's going to be like 20 minutes for me. Okay, we're back and our scan is finished. So let's take a look. For some reason, it took like 18 minutes to publish the results. I don't know why that is, but we can already see our critical 0, high 1, medium 0, lowest 2. So it's looking pretty good. So let's take a look at our actual remediations. So pretty much everything has been cleared up except for this libcurl thing, these two libcurl vulnerabilities. I don't know if you're even going to see this, but let's see. What did we even do? We removed telnet and we fixed those OpenSSL vulnerabilities, and then we fixed the root username, root password problem. So this might be like a good opportunity, like if you want to go through and try to remediate this one yourself. I'm probably going to create some component where people can develop remediations and then publish them and then like get credit for it or something as part of the internship, and then other people can use them to practice their labs. But this vulnerability, upgrade the curl server to version 8.9.1 later, and it kind of talks about the vulnerability. But I would have to like dive into this. I might make a video in the future where it shows the process of me trying to figure out like how to remediate something that I have no idea how to remediate. This would be a good one, because I get what curl is, but like I don't know how to, like, you know, this seems easy enough, but I don't know how to do it with Linux, because like, you know, I'm not that great at Linux. So, but anyways. Everything looks good and all of our stuff got cleaned up. So let's go back to the scan details, and then we will export these if you want to like compare them with the previous scans. So I'll do the PDF executive summary again. Export. And if you want, we can go to downloads. I'll just rename these to like 1 for the first one, 2, 3. You can select all, then open. We can just take a look, rearrange these. So this is the first one, the first scan, our baseline scan. This is the second one after creating vulnerabilities, and then this is the third one after fixing stuff. So you can see the first scan, 4 criticals, 5 highs, 14 mediums, a bunch of open SSLs. The second one, 5 criticals, we added 1 critical, which is the default thing, and the OpenSSL stuff is still here, but we added 1 medium for like the telnet server. Then we remediated OpenSSL for the third one. We remediated OpenSSL, the root credentials, and then we removed the telnet server, and it's no longer here. Very cool. So we exported the report, compared all 3 scans, and then all we got to do is delete our VM. So we'll go back to Azure. We can just delete it from here, or we can. This is our actual virtual machine, but if you don't know, just go back to virtual machines in Azure. Select ours, make sure it's in your resource group, and then just say delete. And then make sure all this stuff is checked, check, and delete, and that concludes the lab. I know can be overwhelming. All vulnerabilities are like kind of different. Just think about it in the state, like the start state, you know, out of date OpenSSL, the end state, upgraded SSL to the latest version, how to do that inside Linux, potentially using a bash script. And then that's where you just use Google and ChatGPT and learn everything you need to learn along the way. Do a lot of testing, and then when you have your final product, you can like test it and deploy it. But yeah, hope that makes sense, and we'll see you in the next videos.